guess who's back? My name is Daniel. And I just wanted to let you know that if you like the song Stan by Eminem, you, my friend, are a feminist. Yes, you heard me right. You see, if we start to take a look at the song a little bit more deeply, we start to uncover parallels that are seen by the opposite gender that I believe might not have been so obvious before. Wittingly or unwittingly, the song Stan takes a look at what emasculization is to a famous man. Let's take a deep dive into the lyrics of one of rap's most tantalizing songs that has etched itself into the very English language. We shall discuss the contents of the song and its reflection on the emasculization of Mr. Mathers, how the song and the term Stan has resonated with the general public, and how this might have indirectly led to a feminist movement online. Now, with that, I will have to say I personally love this song. I'm a big fan of Eminem. I don't necessarily view him in as critical of a light as people right now do, considering that he's old and out of touch.
What? Gen Z's trying to what? Cancel Eminem. Gen Z's trying to cancel Eminem? Honey, that's cute. Listen, look at
But I did just want to make this video to try to dissect something that I thought I was pretty familiar with in the past from a completely new perspective. Now, to begin, the song Stan by Eminem is a tale about an obsessive fan that writes letters directed towards Eminem, and the first line we hear from the song is, "Dear Slim, I wrote you, but you still ain't callin'." Now, that's a pretty forward thing to tell anyone, but the purpose of that line, I think, is to kind of set up the character's psyche. You see, in the rest of the verse, he kind of only mentions that he's a really big fan and that he just wants to get into contact with Eminem. But what he says at the beginning with, "I wrote you and you still ain't calling," kind of shows this entitlement of, hey, you know, I really did something for you, so you should do something for me. And this is undertoned with the fact that Stan believes that because he feels a certain way about Eminem, that he deserves a certain reaction from Eminem. Now, let's take a step back, because generally this is a story that's already been told. You see, if you have ever grown up, you might have heard of the boy best friend. Now, this is the friend that growing up a girl might not have ever realized, but the guy best friend liked the girl. And unbeknownst to her, she was expected to like him back at some point. The scary part about the story with women is that they never knew that there was this expectation of them. The scary thing for Eminem in this story is that Stan is a man treating Eminem like a woman. And Eminem's biggest fear is not that a man could end up liking him, but that a man could treat him like less than a man. And I think that Stan is asking for the rewards of his efforts from Eminem, even if Eminem doesn't want to do that. Now, in the second verse, we hear that Stan thinks that this is all actually Eminem's fault, and that Eminem shouldn't have led Stan on. You see, Stan has other people in his life that know about Eminem, and they know how much Eminem means to Stan. So, if Eminem doesn't feel the same way about Stan, that's a reflection on who Stan is as a person. Right? One of these people is actually Stan's pregnant girlfriend. Now, Stan, being the best friend in this situation, has finally confessed his love for Eminem, and just like any young man, they kind of have this entitlement of thinking that this is where the happily ever after begins. But Stan fails to take into consideration one thing, that Eminem has every right not to like Stan back. Now, this is not good enough for Stan. You see, Stan takes this as a personal insult, and with this, he takes this insult and takes this anger out on the people around him, his pregnant girlfriend. And the unfortunate part about this type of entitlement is that a man's entitlement leads to a woman being hurt even if a woman had nothing to do with the situation. Stan wasn't able to hurt Eminem, so he hurt a person that he believed to be a good substitute. Because again, he viewed Eminem not as a man, but like his woman. So Stan, trying to get back at Eminem, himself and his pregnant girlfriend. Eminem finally gets around to answering Stan, realizing how odd all of these interactions are, and that Stan thought of him in a romantic way. But Eminem isn't necessarily upset at the romantic aspect of this. He's more nervous at the fact that a man is treating him how men usually treat women. I mean, he committed this evil act just to prove how much more he loves Eminem than anybody else. So what could have possibly happened had Stan had physical access to Eminem? Now, after Stan's death and Eminem's realization, the song is over, and you're kind of left with this, bad taste in your mouth, because that's an evil thing that happened from someone who was overly obsessive. And with a better understanding of the song and kind of my feminist lens on it, let's explore how it was viewed by the general public at the time. You see, upon its release, it was censored. MTV censored every bit of it. They censored any of the graphic details of any sort of abuse, and they also cut away any visual representations of any sort of violence. Despite that, the song charted as a #1 single in over 10 countries, and it went on to become one of Eminem's most recognized songs. It constantly is listed as one of his best songs, and even some sources like About.com say that it's Eminem's best song. So all in all, I can say with a certain degree of certainty that the song did pretty well. People liked the song. So what? Did it change the world? I mean, it's not like anybody refers to themselves as a stan, right? No, wait. They do. But who's they? You see, did Eminem's fans start calling themselves stans? Maybe in, reference to the popular Eminem song? No. Maybe people in the rap community started calling themselves stans in reference to? Also, no. Maybe anybody started calling themselves fans that had any sort of association with Eminem? Also, no. The people who started calling themselves stans were actually people who enjoyed boy bands and Justin Bieber and female pop singers or K-pop singers. Now, why did these communities have an easier time adopting the term as opposed to people more closely related to rap or Eminem? I think that it has to do with the association of the word stan. You see, stan is a weirdo, a creep, an outsider who takes their interest way too seriously and is looked down upon from the outside. So basically, stan is viewed in the same way as girls of the 2010s that had beaver fever, or girls of the 2015s that were One Directioners. Yeah, teenage girls liking things is usually seen as a fad or obsessive, whatever sort of deal. So I think in that way, it was really easy for them to take over this moniker of stan. Emboldened, these stans started taking over things like Twitter, and they kept up with every moment of their favorite celebrities' lives, and they quickly funneled this power into their communities. If you want to know what underwear Zayn Malik wears, all you have to do is go to the Zayn Malik fan stan. And artists have gotten the ability to engage with their fans in a very immediate way that otherwise wouldn't have existed. This is both good and bad. You know, there's been celebrities that have hated this and been bullied off of platforms, and also celebrities that have been defended like crusades when people are against them. So it's a little bit of a double-edged sword. Now, the thing about stans is if you say anything negative about certain groups or artists, get ready to get doxxed. You see, these stans usually stop at nothing to defend their interests. They will show up at your school and they'll start whispering into your ear your alt account's username. Yeah, you didn't think anybody knew that, did you? And they'll say, if you ever say that that song on that one album wasn't your favorite again, I'm gonna cut your balls off. That's a reference to a movie that I saw recently. Anyway, stans are descendants of Mr. Mather's own words come to life. Now, stans are free. They know that they are being looked down on, and despite this, they march on. Eminem set them free, and he did this by showing the ugly side of fandom, but inadvertently also showed young women and other people in marginalized communities that even if they aren't as extreme as Stan, they're still going to be viewed in the same light. So they embraced it, and it's kind of poetic in a way. Eminem's initial purpose might not have been to start a movement for young women to feel empowered, but that's what ended up happening. And I know this isn't a hard study of any sorts, and I can only use my perspective and my experience from what I've seen on Twitter, but I do think that it's a good way to see the perspective on how something that might have tried to shame a group of people emboldened them in a way that they are now, you know, very powerful in their field, because stans do hold a lot of power. If you don't have stans in your fandom, then your fandom isn't nearly as strong. This is not to say that stans are perfect in any way. This is just to see the interesting, you know, little grapevine that Stan, the song, has transformed into. Thank you all for listening to my little talk. I hope to explore more topics in the future, and I appreciate you guys. Please like and subscribe if you made it to the end of the video. I don't post very often, but I will try to post more essays. I will only do so if people like that. So thank you so much, and y'all have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace.